Come on in, everybody. Come on in.
Oh, hell, here we go.
Good evening, Texas bikers and bikers all across the nation. This is Texas Biker Radio. My name is Mel Popeye Moss.
Mel O.G. Robbins.
We are with Sons of Liberty Riders MC, who are sponsors of this show each and every week. And tonight, we're going to start out with some biker stuff. All you people that are waiting for the national stuff, hang on to your seats. We're going to be getting to it. But, we are a political group. This is what we do. We talk about events of the day, the week, the month, the year, and just basic crap that's going on around the country right now. And we had some interesting stuff today. We noticed that the folks over at Insane Throttle were talking about Twin Peaks and the trials and stuff that went on in Waco. And really, I think in the end, the gist of his story, and we do encourage you to go watch it because it is important, because it points out the corruption that exists within our courts, within the FBI, within the DPS in Texas, even though they weren't mentioned that much. It is an incredible thing what we see going on. And our courts are as corrupt as hell, whether they're at the federal level, whether they're at the state level, whether they're at the city level, civil level, whatever you want to call it there. OG, it is incredible the things we see going on by our law enforcement and the courts around this nation right now, with stuff we've been witnessing for years.
Call it what it is. It always starts at the top and works its way to the bottom.
It certainly does.
So you got the federal government that's not worth a damn and only wants to hurt the people.
Yep.
And that starts with the executive branch, goes right into the congressional and into the court system. The Supreme Court used to be held in high esteem.
Yeah.
As did the FBI. Now they're in the cellar.
Yeah.
And look what we got for a president. Yeah.
Their approval ratings ought to be lower than a used car salesman. Or Congress, for that matter. Just what I'm saying.
So, it's just like watching Newsmax tonight for a little while. There was a story published by the Washington Post here not too long ago during the elections where Trump supposedly made an intimidating, threatening phone call to the election officials in Georgia. And the Washington Post reported that he was trying to intimidate them into finding fraud in the election. Well, first I would submit to you that you wouldn't have to try and find fraud. It was all over the place. However, that story has since been debunked and found to be very untrue. They did the same story, who are now trying to say they didn't have any part of it. Mm-hmm. So, it's just blatant. You see, the public watches this. The Department of Justice is watching it. There's a whole new term for the media and journalists out there, and let's call them what they are. They're propagandists. Mm-hmm. They don't report the news. Hell, they don't even give an opinion. They're trying to feed propaganda 24/7.
Yeah.
And that's all they're doing.
Hey, let me check something out here, OG. I see that our live stream is not streaming for some reason, even though everything here shows us that it is. You guys on the chat line, can you hear us? Let us know.
And can you see us? We're waiting patiently. They can't see us. Can hear us loud and clear, just no video feed.
Okay. Should we keep on going with just audio, guys, or should we, or should we, or should we stop and reprogram it? And I really hate to do that because I can't imagine why this is not working. I can try a couple things here. Let me get it going. We do have it recording, so okay, feel free to keep going, OG. We'll do it without the video. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing we can do about this. We've got it set up. Everything shows on this end to be working, but we do see that the video portion of it is not rolling for some reason. Don't have a clue why.
That's okay. After the last 5 days, I look like a worn out piece of road alligator.
That's true. Okay, so we finished talking about what a piece of crap, the FBI, the Texas, the Department of Public Safety here in Texas.
It's deplorable.
Yeah, and the people that our courts are just screwed up, and they will send innocent people to jail, and we're talking about the FBI, the Texas Department of Public Safety, the DEA, and all these other agencies that will send innocent people to jail just to get a notch in their belt to try and promote themselves, get more money for their organizations. The list runs on and on and on.
And block, by any way, in any means, any attempt to dismantle the existing corrupt structure.
Exactly. And people are now recognizing, they're now seeing entities, government entities that they thought was out to protect them, and because that's what they will say they're doing, is we're protecting the public. We're protecting the public. And that's a bunch of BS. That's what it is. They're there to promote themselves. Now, are there some good guys out there? We are sure there are. But the people at the top are corrupt as hell. And we're seeing it throughout our government. Throughout. It's hard to find out nowadays anybody that's not corrupt, because they're all in on the game, except for us. We thought we had a government that was working for us. Now, there's many of us that's known for a very long time that is not the case. We're now seeing it wide open for everybody to see. Everybody to see. And it seems as though half the country is asleep at the freaking wheel. Now, I just posted a poll a while ago at Sons of Liberty Riders MC on Facebook, asking what you're going to do with your stimulus money, and we're going to go there in a minute. But OG, let's talk about our trip that took us outside of Texas for the first time in many months.
Well, we had an opportunity to make a hell of a lot of money, I'll tell you that. Now, picture this. We had a truck with a, what the hell was that? About a 24-foot trailer, 26-foot, 28-foot trailer. It was a toy hauler.
Yeah.
Big son of a gun. I mean, it was driving almost like driving a small semi. Now, from here to Arizona, there's a border check that you go through. And from Arizona coming back to Texas, there's a border check.
Yep.
Now, they had all the cones in the lanes, pulling all the traffic over and lining us all up like the humble little sheep that we've become.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Even though they love to create traffic jams, this guy, I'm sure, is going to be filing some kind of workman's comp claim on a wrist injury because all he was doing was waving traffic
That's
through.
true.
Not checking anybody. You know, I felt like telling the driver of the truck with the trailer, "Hey, turn around. Let's go back, pick up a few
Yeah.
at $1,000 a head,
Yeah,
and make some money
exactly.
because we can come back through." And we even part of the trip, as we were tooling along in New Mexico, we saw some illegals running on the railroad
Oh
track
yeah,
about about 50 yards off the side of the road.
yeah.
And a border patrol truck came by not too much longer, just booking like hell, never stopped.
Come on in,
Yeah.
everybody. Come on in.
Welcome to America. Welcome to your free breadbasket, medical care, school, and hey, while you're at it, spread some disease around.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, everybody. Not even a glance into the car. Not even a glance into your saddlebags on your motorcycle. Not a glance into nothing. We could have been making some big bucks, OG.
Oh, hell yeah.
Some big bucks. But that's not us. But there are plenty of people out there that are watching this. They're watching this. And the opportunity now is limitless. If you were to go to the other side.
Now let's tell them the reason we went to Arizona.
Okay.
The reason we went to Arizona, we lost back in late November
Right.
our chapter president in Arizona. He was actually a charter member of that chapter, great leader, great veteran,
Yeah.
highly decorated. He was in the Army Rangers, saw lots of action, but at any rate, he went down. Now, normally, you know, in a national club, everyone goes out immediately to honor a fallen brother. But due to the horrendous lockdowns in Arizona and New Mexico, and hey, Texas wasn't so great at that time either, we had to delay. And we delayed until March 13th when a last ride was scheduled. And that's the reason we were headed out there, to honor our fallen brother. And we had a few members from every chapter show up, which was great. It was great to get together. It was a sad reason to get together, but nonetheless, the brotherhood grows anytime you do something like that.
Right.
So we took advantage of the trip to view just what in the hell was going on, at least in 3 states, relative to the lockdown and how it was being treated, how people were being treated, how scared were the sheeple that we saw running around with their masks, outdoors even. And I got to tell you, it was something. Arizona wasn't too bad. People there are fighting back a little bit. And we weren't actually in Phoenix. We were in an area called Black Canyon, which is a little north and east of Phoenix. Great area of the country. And the folks there were just great. Didn't see anyone wearing any masks. Everyone had a great time. We had breakfast in closer to Phoenix the day we left at an IHOP. And while they had mask signs everywhere, the way we kind of ran it was we walked in without wearing a mask. We had a mask with us. If they asked us to please mask up, we complied. If they didn't say anything, we weren't wearing the mask. And they treated us great. New Mexico was a horror story.
Yeah.
And I'll let Popeye tell you about that one.
Yeah, because because you can't see it right now, I had and I want to say one thing right now. I apologize to anybody that just joined us. That for some reason the video portion of this thing is not streaming. We are recording it, and we hope that you'll be able to, if you want to see the video portion of it, you'll be able to see it over at Rumble later on after we upload it there, and we'll post the link to that at Texas Biker Radio Facebook or Sons of Liberty Riders MC on Facebook. You'll be able to find the link to the Rumble upload there. And so again, we apologize for some reason it's not streaming, but we do have the audio. So we want to thank you for hanging in there with us. Now let me talk about New Mexico for a second, because that was a little bit of a different animal. And let me say this: there are people in all of these states, and especially the ones that are in hard lockdowns, that are beginning to let up somewhat, but it's still a nightmare. It's a nightmare to go into a hotel. It's a nightmare to get some sort of breakfast anywhere, especially if it's on a weekend, because anything and everything is almost drive-through. And when you go into a restaurant like in New Mexico, if you saw the advertisement for this video on any of our Facebook sites, it is the restaurant we were in New Mexico. And if you look and see how far apart the tables are, it was incredible. I don't know how they're making it. And in many cases, they're not. They're not.
We saw a lot of boarded up business.
There's a lot of boarded up businesses, and we don't have people who are living. And we'll get to that here in a minute. Because, we just had a friend today. He lost his job. You know what he does? They put audio systems in churches.
Wow.
And because churches have been shut down and not willing to fight back, he has now lost his job because they just don't have enough business to keep their employees. And we see this going on everywhere. And while everybody's getting real giddy about their $1,400 stimulus check, and let me tell everybody right now, this year, that $1,200 check you got, that $1,400 check you got, is not protected from creditors. In other words, if you've been sliding on some stuff, those creditors are now going to be able, they can come after your check before you ever get it. And that may be what's happening to people that have not gotten their checks yet. It is insane what is going on. And there are people out there that are giddy about this check, because we have been screwed, literally. Understand, they've had two stimulus packages. $6 trillion. And guess what, OG? The money that went out to these entities this time, they don't have to be spent this year. Where's the emergency, everybody?
Slush fund.
Where is the freaking emergency? They don't have to spend the money this year. That's because there is no emergency. It is crazy what's going on. $6 trillion. You know what that could have worked out to be? For you and I and everybody else? $6 trillion times divided by 350 million people. That's everybody. Would have been $18,000 a pop.
I could get a little giddy over that.
You could get giddy over that one, but no, you got to understand where the money's gone. Where it's
However,
gone.
you must remember there's an old lesson that we've been taught since childhood.
Mhm.
Ain't no such thing as a free lunch.
That's right.
Okay? And I'll tell you what's coming at you down the tracks. It's a freight train.
Yeah.
Take a look at the new proposed taxes that Biden and crew have in mind.
Oh yeah.
Okay?
Oh yeah, everybody.
I mean, it's corporate tax, individual tax, capital gains tax. You're not only going to pay in spades for this overspending, you may well pay with your job, because
That's
what's
exactly
going
right.
with these corporate taxes going up and capital gains, these corporations aren't going to play. They've got contingency plans, and if you think they've been sitting on their thumbs, they had a contingency plan in case Trump didn't get reelected.
Yeah.
And they will be reestablishing corporate offices overseas. They'll be reestablishing assembly lines,
Yes, they will.
manufacturing. So you've got jobs that are going to be leaving the country. You're not going to be able to afford, well, if you sell some things and you do happen to make a capital gain, they're going to tax the holy crap out of it, because it's going to be well over 40%. So, you know, there's no such thing as a free lunch, and you got a real nightmare coming relative to tax hikes. And if you think they can't get by with it, watch them do it. Just like the gasoline prices that have gone up here recently. If you haven't been paying attention to the pump, shame on you. Because pretty soon you're going to have to float a loan to fuel your car.
I paid $4 a gallon to fill that Harley up in Arizona.
Yep.
$4 a gallon, everybody.
Imagine if that were a gas tank in a car.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
even worse, a pickup truck with a 40-gallon
This is
tank.
where we're headed. This is where we're headed. We're headed back to the Obama economy in warp speed is where we're headed. So everybody be giddy about your 1400. But let's say this: less than 9% of that stimulus package went to COVID relief. 9% is all. The rest of it was spread out to all these crazy different entities. I mean, it was pushed off to pay the elites is what was done. Less than 9% for C-17. 27% of it went to state and local governments to the tune of $500 billion. Yeah. 21% policies for employment. Policies for employment, $400 billion. National endowment. We've heard that one before. They've been paid before. But they got a bump, OG. This time $125 million. Oh yeah. Yeah. National Endowment for the Humanities, everybody. That's got a lot to do with COVID. Oh, hell yes. Oh, hell yes. Let's get them money. Let's get them $145 million. Huh? Just saying. No money for these people out here on the streets. These homeless people. We've got all kinds of problems, and we're throwing money to all these different little pet projects and funds and everything else. We're out of our minds for not being out in the streets over this. But we do see what's happening. They're protecting themselves from us, is what's going on. They're protecting themselves from us. $200 million for the Institute of Museums and Library Services. $200 million bucks. We could have done a lot for a lot of people with $200 million going to the right places. But you know a lot of this money is just going to make it right back to them. Oh, sure, they're going to get a portion of it, these entities, but it's going to go back to them. You know why, OG? Because nobody follows this money.
It's unaccountable.
Yeah.
And here's another thing that people ought to pay attention to that they probably didn't notice. In almost everything that has gone up for legislation, there have been crossovers
Yeah.
between the Democrats and the Republicans.
Yep.
You always get some Democrats that'll cross over, and you invariably get rhinos
Oh, yeah, you do.
that cross over.
We get
And
them every time.
I would say there's probably more incident of Republican crossing over to the Democrat side. What's interesting is with this COVID bill, not one Republican voted for it
Yeah.
in the House.
Yeah.
Not one. They all stood their ground and said, this bill is bullshit. It's nothing but a pork barrel. And by golly, once you get into it and you read what's going on, that's absolutely all it is. It's a slush fund for the blue cities that are in financial crisis. Pelosi took care of her people. Schumer took care of his people. And right on down the line, any blue city that was in trouble now has cash coming to keep them afloat. And that's not what should have happened. They should have collapsed. They should have collapsed into dust and risen again appropriately. So, nobody paid attention to that.
Let me say this, OG. If YouTube's got a problem with any of this, this is stuff that's just already been reported. It's already been reported. It's already out there. Go fact check it. Go do it. 5% of the $1.9 trillion this time goes to K through 12 schools. And it doesn't have to be spent this year. Schools are swimming in money, everybody. They're swimming in money. And just to show you how it works, what they're wanting to do in California with their COVID money is give teachers a bonus, a $6,000 bonus. Has anybody offered you a $6,000 bonus to get your ass back to work? And I know they haven't here in Texas because we've got teachers that are back to work, and I got family members that are teachers. They haven't been given those kind of bonuses, and this is the kind of crap that's going on, everybody. This is the kind of stuff that's going on. You need to remember this. You need to remember this at these next midterms. We've got to overwhelm the damn system, no matter even if it's corrupt. And we've got to get out there and enforce these legislatures to do the job of cleaning up the election process. They've got to clean it up because these bunch of criminals, that's what I'm going to call them. Anybody that voted for this stuff in the Congress, in the Senate, are criminals. Are frickin' criminals. They're thieves. And they're sellouts to foreign governments. It includes, and OG, I hate to say this, it includes our frickin' military because they've gone woke.
Yep.
Totally woke, everybody. Everything is about transgenders and women and everything else. All of it's designed to create chaos. All of it. Every bit of it. And it continues day after day after day. And if you're not mad yet, I don't know why. You've got to be able to convince your family members that have been turned against their country, especially your children, that hey, this is wrong, this is not right, and this is corrupt. And that probably will get us thrown off YouTube tonight. But it will be at Rumble, everybody. It'll be on Rumble and MeWe is where it'll be. And let me tell you, MeWe is a breath of fresh air because you do not get these damn commercials every 5 seconds on there. We do not monetize our videos and information we put out. And really, all we're doing is commenting on what's already out there.
Try switching that in.
Try to what?
Try switching that one in like we're showing them something. Just for the hell of it.
Okay, we're going to try something here, everybody.
It's an experiment.
Yeah. If we get knocked off about so what? You talking about this one right here?
Yeah.
Okay, let's all right. We'll see what happens there. We'll see if that does anything. I don't think it will, but you know, hey, like I said, this is recording. This is recording, and hopefully it's recording the video on. Still, I don't know why it's not streaming. To anybody that's joined us, it is not streaming. We have audio. For some reason, our video is not streaming tonight, and it just. Oh, wait a minute. Did I do that a while ago?
I don't.
Was it over there?
No.
It was been here?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Everybody, hang on, hang on.
You think it's going to happen?
I don't know. This. There it went. Oh my gosh, everybody. This is my fault. This is my fault. Oh my gosh. So that means that, you know what that means, OG? Even in the recording, it didn't do.
Okay.
So that's my fault, everybody. I didn't switch the cube. Oh my gosh. For that, OG, we got to start over. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm sure they're not going to
you know
miss
what?
seeing us.
Everybody out there, I'm going to put a note up here on the screen. Switch the cube. This side, dummy. This side. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. Oh my gosh. Hey, but you know what? It gets better, everybody. There's $5 billion of emergency housing vouchers. You think that's going out? You think that emergency housing vouchers are going out to all these homeless people that are out there across the country?
That's somebody's personal slush.
We're going to monitor that one, everybody. We're going to go out and see how many people out there have gotten their emergency housing vouchers.
That's reminiscent of the Motorcycle Safety Fund.
The Motorcycle Safety Fund. Thieves, everybody, thieves. They're still stealing from us in the Motorcycle Safety Fund here in Texas, and that would be the damn DPS. Crooks, everybody. Crooks. Politicians, crooks. That make these laws that allows this. And we're battling that now in the state legislature. But and wait a minute, OG, we got $7 billion out there. It's going to child care. Now I don't know so much that I disagree with that, but aren't the parents and everybody staying home?
Well, just exactly where the hell is the $7 billion going? It's not going to parents' pockets.
Does anybody
to pay
know?
for child care.
Does anybody know? We'll have to check that out too.
Yeah, I mean, it would seem to me if they were going to subsidize child care, the money would be going to people that had children so they could afford to pay child care to go to work.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not hearing about anybody getting any extra money for child care. So, and these child care centers make their money off of the parents.
Exactly.
And the fee that they charge to supposedly care for your child. So I think that's another slush fund.
It will be another slush fund. And let me say something to Forrest Stutzman there. I know who you're talking about there, buddy. I know who you're talking about. He's from the Dallas area also. Yeah. Interesting character, and he does know how to. He does know how to fight City Hall and the government. Yeah, he does. Interesting guy.
Your neon's not on.
Are they talking about that now?
Yes, yes. You need to turn on your neon.
Hey, you guys, I was messed up by the time change. I barely got out here and got things set up. Plus, I'm still. I had my eyes checked today, and they're still dilated. No wonder I'm missing stuff.
Yeah, the last time I saw Popeye, we were screaming down I-20 last night. As we approached our turnoffs in Arlington, he was screaming like a banshee, going about 90 to 100 miles an hour.
That's right.
And that's the last I saw of him till tonight.
Yeah.
So God only knows what the hell happened to him between now and then.
And, you know, it was interesting last night, guys, because I still had on my dark shield, and I couldn't see crap. Especially, I'd already hit a rubber alligator in the road, which knocked my kickstand spring off.
That was right outside Sweetwater.
Yep. And so that happened, and then it was. I was trying to see the rubber alligator, so I had to lift the dark shield up, and we were running, I don't know, 75, 85, 90 at times, really, and I'm looking like crazy for more rubber alligators because I already had contact with one, and that was the steel cord of a tire. And so, I'm looking out through there, but my eyes were working good, man, because I was seeing a long ways out there.
And it took out the spring on his kickstand.
That sure did. It was flying everywhere. But it was interesting. But you guys, could you have used 18,000 each? That'd be for every man, woman, child, baby. Could your child have used a $18,000 college fund? I mean, what could you have spent that on? But instead, we've got a deal posted up now at Sons of Liberty Riders MC on Facebook, asking you what you're going to do with your $1,400 that everybody's so giddy about. Just wondering, everybody. Just wondering. So go take that survey. Do it, please. That poll. So we'll get a kind of idea. You're going to save it for a rainy day in case things get way worse? Or you going to go out there and buy you a color TV?
They're pretty cheap now.
A new cell phone. Oh, yeah.
They're not so cheap.
They're not so cheap. That's right. The TVs, the big screen TVs with the fancy 4K screens and all this other stuff, they're cheap. The cell phones aren't. Go figure, everybody. Go figure. And, of course, we don't know how much FEMA got. They got a bunch of money, too. It's just been thrown around everywhere, everybody. It's thrown around everywhere, and a lot of that money is just going to make it back to them. We've been screwed. And you need to pass that on to everybody you know. We've got to fight back against these media outlets. You want to discuss them a minute?
We need to prepare to resist. You cannot listen to anything anymore, with the exception of a very few stations, and believe what in the hell they're telling you. Of course, it's been a little dead since Trump has been quiet. As a matter of fact, they're trying to push polls out there now that say Trump has lost his grip on the GOP because nothing's happening. Well, he's being very quiet. And rest assured, I think, at least I certainly hope, there are some things going on in the background that are going to come to fruition before very long. We still have not seen anything from this new president other than a hell of a lot of dictatorial executive orders, and I do understand he has now scheduled a press conference on March 25th. Nobody should miss this one. There's a pool going as to, first of all, how long do you think the news conference is going to go? Now,
yeah, this will be good, everybody.
Whenever Trump had a news conference, it usually went close to an hour.
Mm-hmm.
There is no way Sleepy Joe can last an hour. The money seems to be on somewhere, some people think 15 minutes, and others believe that no, in order for it to be a credible news conference, it needs to go at least 20 minutes, somewhere between 20 and 30. Now, the next question is, how many questions do you think he's going to take? The belief is he's not going to take many questions, because once you ask the dummy a question, he will ramble on forever, saying absolutely nothing other than embarrass himself. And if he's not wearing a diaper, I'm sure he's pissed his pants before the thing's over with anyway.
Or
Yeah.
or he will do this.
Joining us live this morning from New York. Hey, good morning. Wake up.
Yes,
Wake up, wake
I
up.
can't hear anything.
Okay. This is your wake up
I
call.
could listen to this all day.
Nothing.
Okay.
I could watch this all
I'll tell
day.
you what. We are going. He's meditating. He's taking a little nap. Taking a little nap. Joining us live this morning from.
And the final question is he going to take the questions directly from the media, or is he going to have that garbage truck redhead take the questions?
You know, that's
Call on the media.
This is going to be interesting to see what happens.
This
'Cause
is
we're
gonna
going
be
to
a
be able
show.
to tell if they're all softball questions
Yeah.
that are easy to answer, that can be answered in a little short sentence, and we'll see if he goes off script or he falls asleep. One or the other.
Well, his meds should keep him propped up for the short period of time he's going to be
True.
on.
That's true. The stuff they put him on is
Right.
is going to be incredible. So let's watch with such excitement, everybody, hanging on every word, every lie, every piece of propaganda that the media puts out, and that he puts out, and his minions put out. Let's hang on to it all, everybody. And then point out what the hell's really going on. And let me say this, everybody. Fauci. Fauci is out there. He cannot refuse a camera, anybody. He cannot refuse a camera. So what does he do? He goes on a damn show. And I guess it's in a Hispanic show, because he goes on a show with a Hispanic comedian. Yeah. And I'm going to show you this real quick. I don't know that I want to play it or not. But what this guy, well, I'll tell you what, I'll play a little bit of it. Let's see if the audio is pretty good. You guys let us know.
Seen technology ever been injected into humans before?
Well, this is the first time. Well, this is the first time. Well, this is the first time.
Yes! Dr. Fauci! So, first question. which of the COVID-19 vaccines have been officially approved by the FDA?
3 of them. One from Moderna, which is the mRNA vaccine. One from Pfizer,
Yeah.
which is another mRNA vaccine. And the other one is from J&J, Johnson & Johnson, which is a little bit different. It gives the same kind of response, but it's a little bit different. So there are 3 vaccines that have gotten emergency use authorization from the FDA so far. There are a couple of others that are still being tested to determine if they're safe and effective, but the 3 that I just mentioned have been shown in very large clinical trials involving anywhere from 30,000 to 44,000 people per trial, were shown to be not only very efficacious but quite safe.
Okay, so I asked if it was approved by the FDA, but I think that it's a different thing that an emergency use authorization than an approval. So what is the difference between an emergency use authorization and an official approval by the FDA?
Yes, that's a very good question. So an emergency use authorization is based on the
I
criteria
think
if
you
the
guys
benefit.
get the gist of that. What happened there is that comedian got him to admit that the vaccine is an emergency authorized vaccine. That they had done some studies, and it was things were looking good, and had not had full FDA approval. Now, let me say this: I've had the vaccine shot. I've had it,
The first one.
the first one.
Of course, you know they're saying now you only need one since you had COVID.
That's true. So now, but let's say this, everybody. There's so much misinformation out there by everybody, by all sides, including the FDA, including the WHO, and anybody else you want to talk about. Then we have these morons like Bill Gates and Zuckerberg and all these people that are not virologists. They know nothing. They know nothing about it, but yet they're out there commenting as if they do. And so is everybody else. So the message is so mixed up. What they're trying to accomplish is going to be hell, because everybody's throwing hand grenades at it. Everybody.
I have yet to hear the same story with any continuity. It all changes. It becomes a different story every time. Hell, the other day they were talking about Fauci is now looking at and considering advising 3-foot distancing instead of 6.
Yeah.
Because of some study that was done by the CDC.
Yeah.
However, that was just a little flash in the news.
So now, almost a year later, they're doing a study
yeah.
on the social distancing and a mask.
And now there's word out about some kind of a vaccination passport.
There you go, everybody. That's
it's-
where we're headed.
It's being considered that before you can go into a concert, and I guarantee you it will, if this is really true, I guarantee you that will gravitate towards before you're allowed to go in anywhere, grocery stores, restaurants, or whatever, you're going to have to show a little passport.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you don't have to show in a lot of states, any information to vote. You're damn sure not having to show any information to get into the country. So now they're talking about a vaccination passport. And that can get real ugly real quick.
You reckon anybody down on the border showing a passport? Just saying, everybody. Just saying. Is anyone down there showing a passport? Is anyone down there asking about COVID-19? Or is anyone being tested?
Nobody, as far as we know.
Yeah. So look, all these major, really, really major businesses are still requiring masks, even though now it's not mandatory here in Texas, but they're still requiring it. So they're still going along. Now, let me tell you, everybody, people on our side, we know there's at least 80 million of us. We have the power of the purse. That's the reason we asked you to go to Constitutional Warriors and join up. It takes 5 minutes to make a phone call or send an email to these businesses, and we're going to post the next one tomorrow that we're going after. Or it may be a government entity where we want to send them thousands of messages. Hey, we're not going to buy your product. We're not going to comply. We're not going to comply. And, you know, and we may even send it to the military, who has now gone woke. Look, women can serve in the military.
Now
we don't have
they can serve in a maternity jumpsuit.
That's right.
And with fashion hairstyles.
Whether you agree with that or not, you know, hey, that's up to you. I got my own opinion about it, and I'm sure, you know, there are millions of us that do. But we're going to be silenced if we speak up. But we're going to have to get used to that. We're going to have to get used to that. A lot of the people that we listen to, you know, are now, they've been booted off the channel. You can find them in other places. It's a little bit harder. And I'm sure we'll get our turn too. We've already had it once. But then again, we do not monetize, so we're not on the radar as much. Because I do feel we've skated on some things. But understand, we got a lot going on out there. We've got a lot to battle against, and we've got to come together. And that's the truth of it. We've got to come together. Not in a violent form, because they're waiting for us to do that. Even though they are out in the streets in the western states again, in Portland, in Seattle, in other places, Antifa's raising their heads again. And let me tell you this, Minneapolis is going to be set on fire again. They're just waiting. And it won't matter, OG, what the verdict is. It's not going to satisfy them.
That's right.
Not going to satisfy them. They are just waiting to rip it apart. And they're waiting and ready and willing to rip this nation apart, is what they're ready to do. And they are waiting for us to take some kind of action that gives them an excuse to come after us. And that is exactly what we did on January 6th. And now they're trying their best to throw all those people under the bus with a rigged court system, rigged by corrupt prosecutors, rigged by corrupt courts at all levels. At all levels. Even though all they did, many of them, just enter the building. There are people that did things that are against the law and wrong. Yeah.
Well, you can see videos still of the Capitol Police waving them in.
Exactly
what
what
the
they
hell
were
is that
doing.
all about?
It's exactly what they were doing. It was a setup from the word go, whether YouTube likes that or not. That's the truth. And they know it. But yet they spread propaganda, just as the mainstream media does, day after day after day, hoping you're going to buy it. Hoping you're going to buy it. And hoping that you're going to love your $1,400. It's sickening, everybody. It's sickening. And I'm sorry that I did not start the video at the first of this damn thing. It's driving me nuts to know that happened. Because it wouldn't be the first time, but I think we caught it earlier the last time.
Well, it beats the hell out of the old days when I used to get a call from you after the show saying, "Oh hell, it didn't record. We got to do it again."
We had that happen, yeah, back in the early days. And hey, just to really piss you off, you guys here in Texas, just to really piss you off, it really pisses you off when you find out that at one point the governor was out there pushing these wind farms, pushing them. And one of the things is, it really pisses you off when you find out 2 of them right now are owned by Chinese entities. Yeah, by the Chinese government, everybody. Because anything that comes out of China is owned by the government. You take that to the bank. And there's going to be a 3rd one, everybody. There's going to be a 3rd one. Let me see. One of them is called the Rattlesnake Wind Farm. It must be out in West Texas.
I would assume.
And the other one is called the Heart of Texas. And
that's got to be in the Austin area.
Yeah, and it's owned by Goldwind America, a subsidiary of Shanghai-based Xinjiang Cold Wind Science and Technology.
I'll bet they got a back door into those grids.
Listen to this. They are the largest windmill manufacturer in the world.
You can bet if they're allowed to put those farms in, they got a back door into them.
Yeah.
And whenever they're going to want to do it, they're going to shut them down.
And this will really make your pecker stand up when you find out that one of them, the newest one here, is going to be near an Air Force training base.
Oh my, I wonder what other gadgets
Whoa.
are going to be in there
Yeah.
to watch and see what's going on.
Oh my God, everybody, just no telling how much corruption there can be had. Who's been bought off, who's real, who's not. We know our governor, he loves to get in front of the media like all the other talking heads.
Well, remember, let me throw this out there. Remember the old, while we're going for tin hat bullshit here.
Yeah.
Remember the old suitcase nukes
Oh,
that
yeah.
the Russians came up with?
Yeah.
I'm sure they've been refined to where they're even smaller. What's to stop someone from putting a little nuke in one of those wind turbines, in several of them, surrounding a few military installations? Boom.
Yeah. Hey, being as we're saying, come on in, everybody. Come on in, everybody. Just come on here and have your way.
Bend over, kiss your ass goodbye.
That's right. We're getting wild tonight, OG. We may get thrown off for sure. But that's what a ride like that, they're going out to and visiting with your brothers and seeing what's going on out across the nation. And of course, that wasn't a trip across the nation, but you know what? It was far enough to get a taste of what's going on in these other states that are suffering from these severe lockdowns.
I just can't imagine the stupidity of our government allowing China into our front and backyard.
And let me say this, everybody. We're talking about the stupidity of the government. We're talking about the stupidity of half the American people that are buying into this crap, that have bought into what's gone on over the last 4 months, that have, and a military that is buying in also. We look for them to protect us and to defend the Constitution, the oath that they took, which they are not doing, which they are capitulating to communists and communist sympathizers. The very thing we as veterans have been fighting against most of our lives, all of mine and all of OG's. We can't imagine that a military command would put up with this at all, because we have people that are selling us out totally lock, stock, and barrel, pissing money away like it's water, funding foreign entities that are corrupting this country. And if you listen to what the Chinese said and what we said in one of the last shows, the Chinese were talking about how their young men have been wussified. And they're going to take steps to change it. And that included their military. Yet, we're going to push things the other direction. We're going to make sure they comply with all these outrageous things that they're pushing upon our children, our troops, on us. That's the truth of it, everybody. Got anything you want to close with?
Yeah, let me restate something here. It isn't the government that's stupid. It's the people that keep voting.
Yeah.
The same people in that are stupid. It's the people in government that are corrupt. And that's why this is allowed to being happen, because they're getting their hands filled with money and their back pockets filled with money to allow it.
Yep.
Okay, I'm done.
So everything, power and money corrupts.
Follow the money.
Follow the money. And nobody's doing it. Nobody. Nobody. It's like I asked a long time ago, who watches the president? Nobody. Nobody.
Well, right now the puppet master is watching the
The
president.
puppet master is in control because nobody right now knows who the real president is. And it's sure not the sleeping, hollow potato head. Just my opinion. YouTube. Just my opinion. That ought to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. That ought to do it. So we'll see what happens, everybody. We'll see what happens.
Be safe.
And, well, wait. We
Okay.
got to say, we'll say hi to some people. There's Mindy. Mindy's there. Randy Russell.
Napa.
David Jones.
Dutch.
That's right. Jerry. And let me go see if I can go up here. Sorry, everybody. We're going back through the Forrest. How are you doing? We already Solar Dutch. Dutch, why aren't you here? You're supposed to be learning this stuff. And I know he's tired. He did the whole 2,400 miles. And Mater's Workshop. Yippin' yappin'. Yep. Welcome. There's some names we've seen there for the first time. Thank you guys for joining us. Julie. There you go. Anyway, you guys, hey, like, share, send our stuff out there, help us grow. And we'll see what happens here on YouTube after this one gets posted. With that, everybody, I hope we had a hair. With that, everybody, have a good evening.
Good night.
Good night.